How's it going? You alright? It's been interesting. The afternoons are getting lighter in London, so I'm feeling a bit discombobulated, which is only going to get worse next week when the clocks go forward and it's going to be British summertime. Woohoo! But yeah, how are you doing? You well? I hope so. I hope all's well. Hi, Small But Scrappy. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So this week's chat is going to be with a friend of mine that I've known in various permutations and combinations across the world. We've known each other and danced around each other professionally over the years, but we actually got to meet and hang out properly in India. So I'm looking forward to chatting to him. It's Sam Binga. Sam Binga, amazing producer, and someone that's been at the forefront of hybridizing genres. It's quite exciting. Let me see if he accepts my request. Yo!
Yes.
How's it going, bro?
Yeah, good man. Sorry, Carol, I was enjoying the intro. It sounded like you had to big me up for a second. So
Oh, I already did it, bruv. I finished too soon, as I normally do, a bit too fast. You know what I'm saying? Now, how are you doing? You good?
Yeah, man. It's cold in the studio. I'm literally just like huddled over the radiator,
I was going to
hugging the
say,
radiator for warmth, man.
I was banging on about British summertime, and then there you go. You just look perfectly dressed for it.
Your place looks warm. Well, it looks like quite a spacious spot you're in there.
It is, man. I'm really fucking lucky. I've got to say, I'm a privileged bastard because look at this lovely
It's
environment.
nice, man. No, my studio's the old money vault of a bank. So like it's just like metal doors and no windows and no fresh air. So yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, though.
Mate, if the zombies come, this is where I'm going.
What, an old money bank in Manchester? You managed to find
I'm in Bristol.
in Bristol. Why do I associate you with Manchester so much in my head?
Because for a long time, I spent 10 years in Manchester.
That's why. Hey, Anushka's here. Big up, Anushka. You know Anushka from India.
I know,
right?
Anushka, how you doing?
Yay! Big up. But yeah, man. That was it. So I mean,
Someone
there was
says
a
show
whole...
the middle finger, which I've got to do because I was watching a Bassman video before this, and he was doing the whole it's Bassman's middle finger brunch. So yeah. Also, I've got the remains of some nail varnish on as well.
Do you know what, bruv? I'm so fucking envious because I tried doing my nails black, but because I've got hands like ET, it looks like I trapped them in a door and fucked them up. So I've gone for like mirrored nails, like chrome fucking nails.
Right? Oh, sick.
And I did that last March at my gig, which was the last gig before lockdown. And I'm desperate to get them done again, just for a bit of zhuzh.
I got alternating them black and gold because I did this record with Chimpo, the Ultra Lux EP. We got some T-shirts done, which were like black T-shirts with gold printing. So the whole kind of angle of the artwork was like, it's supposed to be a piss take of like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all that. Hey, what up, Jasmine? Hold that tight, the nails gang. But yeah, it's supposed to be a piss take of like these super high-end brands, and so this T-shirt was all like gold and black. So I got my nails done to match, and the mad thing is that like first of all the record came out looking nothing like a piss take. It came out looking really good, and then also all the T-shirts sold out on pre-order. So I did this whole photo shoot with me with my nails up, looking all fabulous, and yeah, nothing. There's no point
for no fucking reason because they went anyway. But that was it.
Which I mean, it's a good problem to have.
The records look fucking great, and that's the new release with Chimpo that's already out and done, right?
That's right. Yeah, well, it's fully dropping on Friday. Like the full release drops on Friday. What sold out was all the pre-orders on Critical's Bandcamp and their website. So yeah, super happy. Got to give a quick shout out to Hieroglyphics who just joined. He is the cheekiest shit in town. Hope you're doing well, bro.
While we're on it, big up Heather.
When I finish this, all right.
Big up Heather from LA. Yes, India crew is in here representing too. It's quite nice.
Yeah, we got some Cali crew. I saw my friend Jasmine here. We got Cali. We got Bristol. We got London. We got Manchester. Got all kinds of people. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I mean, let like new single notwithstanding, which I also want to get in. I remember messaging you saying it reminded me of the early Reinforced logos
that's a good look, man.
That border. Yeah. It's got that luxury Versace border in the colours that remind me of Reinforced, which also had it. That's a good little link.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. So I'm just looking at Matt, who's messaged me saying I need a new hat. I do need a new hat, but the question is, where? Okay, so just a bit of context. Hieroglyphics is a cheeky shit. He's also started a clothing brand, which is going to be sick. I'm actually wearing the hoodie now, but you can't tell.
Go on, zoom out and show us.
Say what?
Show us your hoodie. Like hold your phone.
Let's have a look. Annoyingly, the big print's on the back, but yeah, you can see the little the logo there. Everybody needs a helping hand. Everyone could use a helping hand. Sorry.
Lovely.
Anyway, so listen, I'll get a new hat, Matt, when your clothing label makes one, and I'll rep it on this thing. All right. Anyway, sorry, I've got to stop interacting with the chat so much. It's too
No,
fun.
no, no.
Too much
Please,
fun.
it's entirely what this is. It's like I said, for anyone that's just jumping on this, every week I talk with a friend as if we're in a fucking bar. So if you want to jump in on the comments, please do. Simple. You know what I mean? It's all very, very friendly.
Okay, wicked.
So yeah, man. But yeah, so I mean, like the whole new record thing is fucking awesome from what I've heard, and it looks fucking great. The vinyl itself is wicked, like the color of it.
Yeah, no, it's one of them ones where you sort of start it and you kind of think like, oh, this might be quite funny, and then you get it back and you're like, okay, this is looking quite good. Then you see the final mock-ups and you're like, oh my god, this has totally exceeded, you know, any expectations that I had. So yeah, it went from being a piss take to being like just actually genuinely good.
Yeah.
Like my friend Dave from Manchester did all the design for it, and you know, I think he normally does like a lot of corporate stuff, so his shit is tight. And yeah, the details in it are sick. Like the little logos around the side, they kind of, one of them is like an S, and the other one's a C, and they interlock, so it's like Sam Binga and Chimpo. But you can't tell; it just looks like a cool pattern at first.
But I've seen you guys interlocked in real life, so there's a lot of art following reality there.
Yeah, most definitely, and also, like if you know Chimpo and me, obviously we love the word cheeky. So like the Latin phrase on there, it says viri insolente, which is like the nearest thing we could find in Latin to cheeky men. So yeah, the viri insolente is me and Chimpo. So,
Have you guys ever thought about doing a remix of the Cheeky Girls? Because that'd be fucking sick from you two. I can totally picture it.
Chimpo's got a dub plate of the Out Here Brothers. You know, he goes boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say Chimpo, Chimpo.
Yeah.
So it's maybe not as far away as you might think it is. You know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, the comedy value alone with you guys is fucking brilliant. Particularly Chimpo, because he's just a funny, hilarious bastard. But you know, that's it. So I mean, going back from cities you associate with to also how we met, right? So I think this is going back to 2008, maybe, where we first crossed paths when you were a breaks producer under the name Baobinga.
Yeah, a whole nother lifetime ago.
I can't believe that we've known each other for that long, and it was like it was in India when we met, and he was like, "Are you that dude from the BBC whose show I was on?" I was like, "Yeah." Fuck, it was. I didn't realize you were the same person.
That was like 10 years later, wasn't it? 9 or 10 years later.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I mean, that whole story, because that's probably why I've got the Manchester thing in my head, because there was that whole, what was that track I used to fucking run a lot on my show, which was one of the big things, the last sort of big Baobinga things you did with, fuck, where's it gone? It was right in front of me. Oh, mate, this is lack of preparation.
Oh, we're not on the BBC anymore, mate. Not on the BBC anymore.
Yeah, fuck that. I had to do my own research.
The producer? Sack the producer.
It's me, bro. Hang on a second. Bingo, where are you? It was that one with, it wasn't on Fat. Hang on, there we go. Jump Up and Get Hyped with Virus Syndicate.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. That was me and ID, my friend Ed ID, who I also went on to do Bailing and Simpson with, which was like a deep house project, deep house and disco kind of thing.
Big up ID.
That was like, we were listening to a lot of B-more stuff at the time, B-more Club. Like, I think Jack Master had just kind of got Dressed to Sweat started, and there was like the whole kind of, you know, like it was the first time the UK, or at least you know, the UK in general, really kind of heard a lot of B-more stuff, and we were just like, this is great. This is think breaks and sing breaks and 808 kicks, and like rowdy vocals. This is absolutely right up our street. So we patterned up something like along those lines. And then obviously Virus Syndicate with Manchester as well, so we kind of linked up with them and the vocal on it. Yeah, and I think that tune's a banger, man. Do you know what? Fair play to Nick from Virus as well, because he's come out and said some real shit recently about. Oh wait, we're not doing politics, are we?
We can do if you want. I don't give a fuck. It's us time.
Well, you know the whole Shamima Begum situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, our government.
I mean, bro, I just want to say, look at my T-shirt. I mean, you're kidding me.
Yeah, okay, right, just check. Yes, obviously, like, for anyone that's not aware of the situation, Shamima Begum was kind of groomed into joining ISIS at 15, and now the government wants to deny her
citizenship
and say she can't come back home. And, you know, it's a big topic, but, like, fair play to Nick Virus, he's been, like, hammering it and saying, like, look, you can't just deny someone who's a child who got caught up in all kinds of madness when she was groomed for this. You can't suddenly then just say like, oh yeah, we're going to deny that she was ever British or whatever. It's like, nah. So anyway, so big up to Nick for that. He's a real one, 100%. He's a real one.
Yeah, man.
And big up JSD as well, and Goldfinger too. Yeah,
and that's I mean, that was it. So that track alone had a lot of vibes in it. And also, what's interesting about our interaction is that when shit's popped off, you've always been, I don't want to say the right side of history because that's such a wanky thing to say, but you've always been fucking on it, essentially.
Do you mean musically or like any other stuff?
Both of it, all of it. Like incorporating that shit in your music. Do you know what I mean? Like you've always been on it and incorporated like a fucking real artist. You take what's around you and just chuck it into your tunes, which is fucking wicked.
I think it's important, man. I think there's a couple of things there. I think musically, I think it's just really boring being a purist. I mean, on the other hand, I do respect people who just are like, no, this is the seam that I'm gonna mine.
Yeah.
It's a totally valid way to do it, but for me, I've got a short attention span, and I always like bounce around for different things, and it's probably to my detriment because it's a lot easier to market yourself if you're like, no, I'm the guy. I play bass house, or I play drum and bass, or I do this, and that's never been me. So,
yeah, you've had kind of a schizophrenic approach to your genres, let alone that. Big up Tarkib from India, speaking of people jumping genres. Wicked.
Yeah, hey, what up, Tarkib? How you doing, bro? And hold tight, Alice, young Aero. Someone says they can't wait for the next Client No Free release. Yeah, neither can I, mate. Neither can I. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Then in terms of the other stuff, in terms of, like, the politics, right, I genuinely don't really understand how you can... Right, to me, I was always so just... Because I come from a small village in Yorkshire, you know what I mean? I'm not from a big city. I'm not from any kind of metropolis where it's like naturally a particularly multicultural or even exciting area. Like the nearest big city where I grew up was Hull, which despite being European city of culture a bit ago is, you know, it struggles. It's got its struggles. I don't do it down because there's a lot of amazing people there, but like especially when I was growing up, it wasn't particularly multicultural. So for me, when I found out about dance music and I was like, what? You tell me there's this whole world of music that came from Chicago and Detroit and New York, and now it's spread around the world, and it has its roots in like disco and funk, and the funk breaks spread up and all this stuff, you know. And I was like, this stuff's amazing, and I owe it to this culture to research it properly and to look into it. So like, you know, once, you know, from I think in the I read like Energy Flash by Simon Reynolds, which went into all of that, the kind of history of it. Ed ID, I borrowed a CD off him which had all the early Detroit and Chicago tunes on it, and I was like, this stuff's amazing. So like, for me, just being so sort of inspired by the whole culture and seeing where it came from, to not kind of see the politics of that as well, just feels like you're closing it off. So when people say, oh, you've got to keep politics out of music, if you're making dance music, you're making stuff that is at its best, or as it should be, is fundamentally like multicultural, it's tolerant, it's multiracial, multi-ethnic. It's supposed to be about uniting people. It's about respecting its heritage. It's about saying like, you know, I'm not trying to say that I am anything other than what I am, but and I'm aware of the history, but I also still can contribute to it. That's a fucking beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and you're not co-opting. You kind of you're passing the narrative along. You know what I mean? Rather than sort of co-opting it and whitewashing it, essentially.
Yeah, it's something I think about a lot because, you know, like I work a lot with MCs, with people like Ryder Shafiq and Redders, and like Ryder particularly is obviously very, you know, politically engaged, and like we have some stonking arguments about stuff, you know what I mean? Like we go at it, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't feel comfortable making music I make with Ryder if I felt like I was a tourist to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I have to approach it from like a very respectful and real point of view. You know, it's not like I can be like, oh yeah, I'll go and get my token black friend to come and chat some patois. You know what I mean? It's like that would just be the most hideous thing you could possibly do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's properly real, and that's the thing about your music. Like even from the break scene until you rebranding. Fucking hate that word, but the metamorphosis from Baobinga to Binga, right? Is that even your break stuff was never straight down the line. You moved your fucking shoulders, it got your hips moving, it was bassy as fuck. It wasn't like the straight up square breaks. Do you know what I mean? There was a bit of fucking shuffle always in it. Do you know what I mean? It was like had a dancehall tinge to it, or had like made you want to fucking move, you know, rather than sort of plod along to the fucking one and the two. Always.
That was, I mean, to be honest, that ended up being the problem that I had with breaks. So I remember, like, maybe around about 2009 or so, me and Ed were starting to hear, like, you know, a lot of the, no, earlier than that, like, we were starting to hear the kind of, the early murmurings of what ended up being dubstep. And it was kind of, it was kind of like the break step end of things.
Yeah.
So it was like a, it was kind of a garage influence still. It wasn't just the pure halftime, but it was more moody, more minimal, more swung. And we were like, great, this is what break should move toward. There was a space in between which we could have gone to, and like flipping like Jada Flex was on One Extra,
Yeah.
the early dubstep.
Yeah, big up
We
Jada
played some
Flex.
of our stuff, like
Yeah.
my one play on John Peel's show is from when Jada Flex did a guest mix for John Peel.
Sick.
And he played one of my tunes on there. And it was a breaks tune, but it fit in with that thing. So we were very much like, yeah, this is a thing that feels like it got the vibe of old jungle, which we both loved, and it's at the kind of tempo that we're working at in breaks. There's something really exciting here. And then unfortunately, breakbeat just kind of, as a scene, it just embraced like the it just felt like it embraced the easy option. Do you know what I mean? It went down loads of bootlegs, really like boring rhythms that would have, that had no interest in them, and it was just bland. Like that was a real disappointment because we wanted it to go down that kind of, like you say, the hip wiggling, shuffling, the kind of just
because it was you guys and like and was it TIG and Teo and that kind of stuff that was actually moving in that direction, almost like in parallel to when like Forward was happening, and it was like kind of like you could sense there was a change in the air. You know what I mean? And then the whole Forward sound kind of came along and kicked everyone's fucking ass. Like everyone's ass got kicked at that point, including D&B, which was my silo at that time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Because at the time, D&B was going through Pendulum and all that, and it was. I mean, obviously those guys are amazing. Like, it's not necessarily the sound that I love. I don't want to cuss anyone, but like, it's very stadium, very big, very, just a huge big sound. And like, I've always been more about like what does it sound like not in a stadium? What's the sound of like a small underground basement?
Yeah, like a dark room with big fuck off speakers, which was Plastic People. It was fucking perfect for that whole vibe.
Me and my girlfriend at the time in Manchester, we drove to Forward, like we drove to and from Forward. We went from Manchester to London to go to Forward and drove back the same night with some good people we'd met who were into this shit from Sandbatch of all places.
Right.
So yeah, and that was amazing. You know what I mean?
It was so it was for me. It was Scuba because he was another breaks person that went into Hot Flush was a breaks label right before it turned into a dubstep label back in the day. So him and another guy called El Cid played
I
like.
was going to say, what was the other guy named? El Cid. Yeah, all the time. What's he doing now?
I have no idea. It's been years, but we did like a Shiver Sound System warehouse party in Hackney. And those guys played, and I was always a bit like, this is like when there were still breaks, and then he took me to Forward, and I was like, it's all just intros. I don't fucking get it. And I was so backward, I just didn't fucking get it. And I remember on Radio 1 having, not an argument with Marianne, but like a conversation with her when I was still on the Asian Network. And I was like, I just don't get it. And she was like, you need to go and hear it and feel it properly. And it wasn't until fucking like, it was some DMZ birthday party or something when I finally understood it. The penny dropped. Do you know what I mean? I was like, for fuck's sake, you don't, the whole double time, halftime thing. And moving twice the speed. It was so fucking basic. As a drum and bass head, I was like, it's all intros. I was waiting for the double time thing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, fuck. And it took a while for that penny to drop. But
it took me a while as well. And like, my taste still leans to, less towards the half step at that tempo. But obviously, like once you get it, you know what I mean? So
yeah. And and the energy just transferred. But that's the other thing is that then I think around that time, or around about 2012, 2013, when all this new stuff was happening, so that there was like, obviously the Scream remix of In for the Kill was massive, it played everywhere. But that transition, and I remember distinctly when Pendulum like played that Voodoo People remix and turned it into stadium level shit, I was like, whoa, that's a whole new thing happening here as well, And then it all kind of folded in on itself. And then you guys kind of stepped into the fray where the barriers between genres just broke down, And so Om Unit, obviously, big up Jim, like,
all day.
And the whole, obviously, Addison Groove, obviously, Atomic, all like D-Bridge, all that kind of stuff. Just breaking down all those barriers was fucking exciting. And then you were smack in the middle.
I'll be real with you. I kind of feel like some of those barriers have come up again recently. I feel like there was a time, maybe like roundabout when this, when I started doing my thing, when Jim broke through as well, maybe 2015, and it felt like D&B was really open to kind of these different vibes. Like the autonomic thing was really going off, which was a whole different take on that tempo. We had our kind of like halftime take on it and all that thing, and like I feel like that was a really exciting moment, and I think I think what I've realised with dance music is it tends to go in like 5-year cycles, and that's to do with university in the UK at least. Like the year
That's
before you go,
interesting. I never fucking drew that parallel. Okay, interesting.
it may be complete bollocks, but the way I think of it is that, like, you know, the year before you go to uni, you get, you know, you're 17, you're getting into dance music, you're like, okay, yeah, you find your little area and you find the new producers that excite you. And then you've got 3 years at uni where you're going out a lot and you follow them through. And then you've got the year after before you maybe get like a real job or a heavier job. And, you know, so it's like a 5-year circle of people who will like follow a sound through. And unless then the generation below really gets on that as well,
Yeah.
then that's the kind of oftentimes the natural life cycle for a particular sound, unless it becomes one of these bigger like meta sounds, like a dubstep or a drum and bass. You know what I mean?
Or commercial, and therefore worth like
Yeah.
putting in. It's like, so, I mean, like, you know, going back to that period, I remember when Dirty Phonics first came out and they were doing tempo changes, and me and Decode's Radio 1 show was all about breaking down those barriers. And the core was always drum and bass, but breaking down tempo changes was key. And that was exciting. And then by the time I got into 6, that's when Jim and everyone came up, which was fucking great. And like Ital Tech and obviously Dub Physics, as Thirteen mentioned. You know, all that stuff was so exciting because it was running at 160, which was, you know, essentially hardcore, which was fucking great. You know, you could
exactly
go back into Bookham and it was wicked. It was fucking really exciting. But I think that the barriers coming back up, I think right now are down to commerciality. So like, you know, there was that whole thing around BLM about certain labels blacking out their fucking, you know, putting up the squares and realistically doing fuck all about it behind the scenes. Because I guess it makes economic sense to stick with one sound that generates that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I don't know exactly why it is, whatever, and it's not a bad thing. Like, it's been, you know, some of my last few releases on Critical have been more straight up drum and bass, and it's been fun trying to, you know, see, okay, well, can I hit these production levels? Can I do something within them that still feels true to me? And that's been fun, you know. And I think like in some ways that's worked quite well, because it's meant that, you know, since I've got my own label Pineapple going, I can do all my weird explorations on that. And then I can you know, give Critical the thing that they really excel at doing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of the way it goes at the minute. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I was thinking, you know, in terms of those barriers coming back up, I think you're right. It adds focus. I think I'm just a bit skeptical of that focus just being purely about commerce. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I think, you know what, I think it's something else we've got to do. We've really got to shout out like the whole footwork thing, because when footwork came up, and it was, well, like you say, it was 160 BPM, but it was a totally different production aesthetic. It was like raw. It felt hip hop. It felt like it wasn't about the production. It was about.
It kind of reminded me of like Miami bass, but evolved almost.
Completely, yeah. Like raw 808s, mad programming, just the most insane samples. And it was like, you know, D&B has always been so much about production. It's always been about who can level up, who can make the tune that hits the hardest. And these guys weren't about hitting the hardest production-wise. It was about who can do the maddest rhythm and who can have the cheekiest sample.
Do you know what? That reminds me of the early days of Metalheads, right? You know what? It's like the weirdest tune you can pull out the bag, the weirdest dub plate you can pull out the bag. Not the biggest drop, but the weirdestness of it.
Yeah.
You know. And I really feel that when Jim got when All Munich got that whole Timelines release on Metalheads, it was like the weirdness was back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think before that it was noisier with the owl experiment, strange owl experiment or something on Metalheads, which is just weird as fuck. It was like owl noises running at 175 or something.
Yeah.
But produced by Noisy. But that experimental approach was something I always fucking loved. That weirdness, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's creativity is such a weird thing, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you know, like, this is what makes dance music endlessly interesting, right? Because and I say this all the time, it's like a mix of creativity and functionality. It's like, you know, if you're making dance music, at the end of the day, it's there for a reason. It's to make people dance, you know? So it's like, you know, you're not necessarily there's not like no constraints whatsoever, you know? It'd be quite difficult to like make a dance floor record that had no drums. Not impossible, but difficult, and maybe a whole set of that wouldn't necessarily work.
Yeah.
There is like constraints, but at the same time, it's got to be creative, or else you end up just like what happened to Breaks happens, where a scene just dies because it's lacking creativity. So I think that tension between functionality and creativity is what keeps dance music interesting. You know, it's always got those two elements pushing against each other.
And a sense of fun, right? Because I think if you take the fun out of it, it's fucking boring. Like that's the one that would kill anything more than if you're not having fun. It's just like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think like for me as well, you know, this is something I've really tried to do with everything that I've done. It's like, this is the problem I have with art in general, is that so often art in the West that is joyful is seen as less valid than art which explores the pain of human misery.
yeah. Big up Yazzie in the comments, by the way. That's hilarious that a comment just jumped up saying, "What up, party people?" That's just
exactly. Party people are important. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like, you know, it's like joy and life and a humor and all these things are equally valid forms of expression. But if, you know, it's like, think about indie music in the UK. It's like the classic indie songs are so often just about, like, you know, everything's rubbish and it's raining and it's all bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's have some joy. Do you know what I mean? So,
I thought you said Indian. I was like, bro, I could talk to you for days about Indian music in the UK.
No, I know nothing about Desi music.
I was like, what? I was just like, where are you going with this, bro? But yeah. But I mean, there is a certain sense of joy, but also it's about cool joy. Now you've mentioned that, because for me, like going just as using Desi music as a like Bollywood and Bunga was never my thing, right? But it's always about something cool and different and all the other connotations to that, right? But having, like, there was this one time when me and Dee were playing Glastonbury at do you remember the Las Vegas, that field in Glastonbury, which is this field that was, you know, open till late at night. And this was in, I think, 2003 maybe, right? Before it was a proper all-nighter, before all the production came in. And there was this one tiny stage that used to be open all night and the rest of the festival was shut down. And I remember playing it, and I had this drum and bass remix of Britney Spears' Toxic, right, which I thought was fucking hilarious, right? And also, because those strings are in there, right, it was like, it's a bit brown. I can get away with playing this, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a piss take. And I swear to God, we were obviously a bit spangled. And I dropped it, and this lady came on stage and slapped me and said, "Don't you dare play Britney again." And me and Dee were a bit like shell-shocked, but then burst out laughing. But it was that seriousness versus the humor aspect.
Yeah, you know what? That actually reminds me of a story of my friend who used to have a gig. He got a gig DJing at a gay pub in Shrewsbury, and he had no idea. He was like, "Yeah, cool, I'll do it." I had no idea what to play, and so he started off, and, you know, after a bit he played Right Said Fred, and so apparently a massive butch dude put to him and said, "Listen, mate, we're gay, we're not idiots. Get this crap off." And he was like, "All right, yeah, okay, I'll play some decent shit."
That sounds like a piss take.
That's the thing. He was just like, "I don't know what I should do," and they were just like, "What the fuck are you playing at, bro? Come on."
I mean, there's so many more gay anthems you can play than Right Said Fred. That's like proper Argos. That's Argos anthems right there. That's not even.
Yeah, exactly. And
Shit.
the thing is, now he's like a proper disco expert, and he knows all the Paradise Garage classics and what have you. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, to my defense, that remix of Toxic, which I'll send to you, by the way, it was fucking hilarious. Okay, fuck you too then, man. Oh, actually, talking about humorous remixes that were just that transcended shit. Your remix of Bambata.
Oh man, yeah. No, I never heard back from Shy about that, so that's never coming out.
Is it not legit?
No, I just bought this thing on iTunes and then.
How have I got it?
How have you got it?
Yeah.
That's just probably just out on the internet now, isn't it? Did I send it to you? I don't know if I did.
I think it was either you or Breakage.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess that's just out in the mix. But yeah.
So shit. Shy never got back to you.
Because I was like, this is all right, you know. Shy, do you want to do something? And, like, you know, we were talking a bit because he played Left M and a lot of stuff. So yeah. Oh, we've got a question in the comments. How did Binga link up with TT the artist and Paul Wall? Should we go into that one quickly?
Please go ahead.
TT the artist, that was just from following Be More people, like I think following Mighty Mark, who's now, or Murder Mark, who was called Murder Mark, now he's called Mighty Mark, and just seeing her on some of his beats and being like, yeah, she's sick. Reached out over Instagram, you know, and hooked it up, paid a fee, and yeah, just that was like one of the last tracks on the album as well. It was, you know, I ended up rewriting the beat for it completely. And it was just good because I wanted to get another female voice in the album, and she killed it. And then obviously we stayed in touch from there. I met her at South by Southwest in person a few years back, and I got to do a thing for Pineapple as well. And then with Paul Wall, the Paul Wall thing, that was mad. That was from playing in Houston a bunch of times. And Like, I think a lot of UK DJs, you know, they get booked in Houston, and then maybe they don't know so much about Houston rap. Not that I know loads about it, but like I want to be aware of it. And you know, my very first show there, after that South by Southwest, I was like, "Yo, you got to take me to the Screw Shop. You got to take me to DJ Screw Shop." And so, you know, one of the crew hooked it up. We drove out there, and they were like, "Oh wait, this guy knows about Houston rap a bit."
I was going to say you've done some research, bro.
Yeah, and like on the show that I played, I finished off with like a load of not just the Houston classics, but some of the new shit. So obviously I played like Still Tipping, but also played like Source Walker. And,
so it's not like going to India and playing fucking Punjabi MC.
No, although I probably should have done that. But you know, so it was like I showed some respect to the city. I always try and do it. If I'm in a city that's got a music scene, I'll try and research it and like play something where it shows like, look, you know, I know where I'm at. I know why I'm here. I know what you guys are about. So, yeah, so from that, I kind of got chatting to the various promoters that were there, and like, it turned out that one of them had gone to school with the graphic designer who did all the Paul Wall stuff. And then, so I kind of chatted to him through her, and then eventually was chatting to the graphic designer directly, and like, ended up having a show, I think I had a festival in California. Oh no, I had the maddest schedule. I think I had a Thursday night in Helsinki, then I had a Saturday festival in California, then on the Sunday I flew to Houston, spent all the money I'd made that weekend, well, took it out of the bank in cash, and gave it to Paul Wall to do that, to do his verse on, to do that tune. But the mad thing was, because it was all through X amount of intermediaries, until I saw like Paul Wall's Cadillac in the car park at the studio, I didn't know it was going to happen. I was just like, is this just
some chat?
Yeah, is this actually happening?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
There's another question here, which I think is quite interesting from Fabi, which is talking about female producers as opposed to just female singers and vocalists. What about them? I think there's shitloads. I've come across a lot of amazing female producers over the years, and actually more recently as well. How about you?
Yeah, I refuse to work with any female producers. I just won't have it. No,
no estrogen here. No, not allowed.
No. No, I actually used to live with Kyrist, who's obviously killing it in the sort of techie D&B world. So you know that's me supporting.
Oh, in that whole world, big up Anna Morgan as well.
Yeah, of course. No, there's loads of amazing female producers. I guess, you know what? It's like I obviously have nothing against working with female producers. It just hasn't come up yet, you know. I've sort of given feedback advice on, you know, various producers and stuff, and like, you know, I think I recorded Ryder's vocals for an Anna Morgan thing. But
Sick.
yeah, it's just not come up. Like, as much as I want to support, you know, whoever wants to be supported and needs to be supported, like at the same time, I don't think you can necessarily force these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think also it's about sort of encouraging and progressing, and also I think that there's a certain, it could be a bit fucking arrogant to say, well, this producer needs my help, but then you got that whole fucking like unwanted feedback, and they're like, listen, bro, fuck off.
You know, used to be another man being like, oh, I'm gonna bless you with my maleness. It's like, the thing is that, you know, like someone like Kirsty Kyrist, you know, that's not a natural collaboration. We make different styles of music. We lived together for like quite a long time, and you know, she had her studio in the house, and we never made a tune together, and we got on fine the whole time. It's not like it wasn't it just wasn't something that natural to either of us. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing that I think was interesting though, is that, like, you know, there was a point where we all play festivals and stuff, and we have, as men, a kind of power.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Once upon a time we played these things. Fuck knows how it's going to be in the future. But you know, potentially that idea of saying, well, if you're going to book me, you need to sort your fucking lineup out. So it's not just all dudes. There's that kind of general ability we have to fucking change shit.
Yeah, I think it's super important, and like you know what, I probably should look into it more deeply, and find more people to collaborate with. Like, it's probably, yeah, you know what, it's probably a bit of a blind spot. So yeah, big ups to whoever brought that up. I will do some more research, but like, I just feel that collaborations have to be kind of natural. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think like if I was staying over with Anna Morgan in Hawaii or LA, wherever she is now, I think we'd probably
LA, I think.
together, do you know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah.
I know there's like a natural vibe there. So I think it's definitely something I'd be up for doing. It's just not come up yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in terms of like trying to push things to diverse, especially post-COVID, we don't want to just go back to the same way it was. But I think we probably will do, unfortunately.
I think it's that whole thing about where I was thinking a lot about this, about the festivals and the bookings that are happening and all the rest of it. And there was a certain balance that was happening in my mind about how the excuse is, oh, we just don't know any women that are doing it. And it's like, you're just not looking hard enough, essentially. That's the reality of it. And a lot of my sort of female friends, musicians, and people we both know, in fact, set up this database of female everyone, like DJs, producers, musicians, whatever, as a database. So no festival programmer or anyone could say, well, I don't know any. It's like, motherfucker, there's a database right here. And someone messaged me saying, why is there a female database? Why isn't it not just based on talent? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's not about, it's about readdressing that balance. It is based on talent, but it's also being like tackling that general ignorance. Do you know what I mean? And it's a conversation that's ongoing.
I think the people that come out with this stuff about like, oh, why have you got to like make a big thing about female this and that? It's kind of like, it's a very naive and privileged attitude because like it's assuming that the only thing that makes anyone's decisions is talent, which it's not. It's like visibility is a huge thing. You could be. It's like people always say, what the Steve Jobs of South Sudan might be fighting in a fucking civil war. Do you know what I mean? There could be there's a whole bunch of people who are more talented than me who haven't had the career I've had because they're just not. Because I've been very lucky. Do you know what I mean? I've had certain breaks and certain things have gone my way. Do you know what I mean? So I think like when you're talking about any kind of situation where things have been underrepresented, yeah, it's like it's on us who have visibility to make the effort to push that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, man. It's just very naive to say that like, oh, it should only be on talent. It's like, well, it's not that. Everyone's got biases. Everyone's got like, tends to just assume that like someone that looks like you is the person you're going to choose because that's just how the human brain works a lot of the time. We have to fight that. And we have to be aware of that. And we have to push against it. And it's the same thing with like you say, people are like, oh, why has it got to be a female list? It's like, well, because whatever we were doing before clearly wasn't working. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
And it's like it's just not the case that all the talent in the world is given to half the population. That's complete fucking nonsense.
This is the worst thing about it, right? I remember I got in a big argument about this on a flipping production forum on Facebook, right? It was, I'm not going to name it because it's good forum, but it was someone was making the point that like, I think there'd been like a female engineer had won a Grammy for some like amazing work, and I'd put it up and I'd said something like, "Wicked to see this," and someone was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Why is it wicked to see this?" And I'm like, "Well, it's just great to see someone who's talented, and and as a woman who maybe we don't hear so much about female engineers, it's great to see them get some recognition." He's like, "Why are you obsessing about what's between their legs?" And I'm like, "Bloody hell, mate! Can you calm down?" It's like, and the worst thing is that like you say, we're missing out on so many sick tunes. Like, there's clearly so many amazing like female rappers, singers, producers, engineers, promoters, graphic designers, all of this, who I just don't feel welcome, and we're not getting the benefit of their ideas. You know what I mean? It's like we're just missing so much cool shit.
I think you've just kind of triggered a memory in my head where there was like a big drum and bass label around the whole BLM thing where a lot of their fans didn't get that it was essentially black music. And they're like, what's race got to do with it? I'm like, what do you mean what's race got to do with it? It's just like, it's inherently fucking like, yes, it's a hybridization of coming together of different strands, but it came from an underclass, first of all, and it came from black people representing shit where there was no fucking ability to say anything else.
It's just on the most basic level. It's like all these breaks you use. Who played the drums on those? You know what I mean? And who never got paid?
Yeah, 100. I mean, every fucking sample.
Yeah.
Every drum sample is directly from a fucking funk band.
It's depressing. It is depressing because, like I said at the start of this, like, when I first got into this, the fact that it came from all these like exotic sounding places, like I'd never been to Detroit or Chicago, or like, I was listening to these funk breaks that were recorded in like Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and all this, and it's like this is a whole exciting world that I can find out about and even be a part of to a small.
But then also perpetuating it to your audience is fucking critical. To like, you know, not to pardon the pun, but you know, it's vital to actually communicate to your listening audience as well about where this shit came from, particularly now in the face of all, you know, a lot of conflict that's coming up, where there's an assumption of like, oh, what does race have to do with this? It's like, well, actually, bruv, everything.
Here's a question then. Okay, so my mum, love her to bits, but you know, she's an old woman from, you know, lives up in the north, whatever. So like, whenever I used to go on these tours to places like India or, you know, South America, she'd always say, oh, you should make a tune with some Indian sounds in it, or some, you know, some samba stuff. And I always felt that was maybe a little bit kind of patronising to be like, oh well, Indian D&B has to sound like it's got, you know, like
doublers and sitars and shit, yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like equally, if I go to a place like India or to Brazil, and I hear a tune which sounds exactly like it could have been made by, you know, someone from Droitwich, or, you know what I mean? Or like,
Droitwich was your selection. That's fucking hell.
For the D, man, baby.
Fucking hell. Droitwich, Dundee, Derby. The fucking
the,
triumvirate of the Ds.
Big Ds, baby, big Ds.
Triple D, bruv. Yeah.
Triple D, baby, triple D.
Fucking Droitwich.
So what do you think? What to you should Indian dance music say? Because we, you know, obviously we met like the second time pretty much in Mumbai.
Yeah, shit-faced at a bar. Yeah.
What should Indian dance music sound like?
What
should make it stand out as being Indian?
So here's the point. Okay, so it's interesting you say that. So when I started off on the BBC, it was in direct, not opposition, but to balance Bobby Nahal's show on Radio 1, right? So Bobby Nahal had their show in 2003, and my label was doing club nights across London. But we would sort of want to break out of this brown silo and had people like fucking Aphex Twin playing at our club night, which is like, what the fuck had that happen? Or comics or whatever. We were really like, in my mind, I was like, I'm British and I want my culture to be relevant to everyone in the UK. So keeping it to a fucking age range within a minority isn't going to do shit. You know what I mean? Like the Prodigy using Shaheen's fucking a LARP in the middle of a Smack My Bitch Up did more for my culture in the UK than Punjabi MC, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It was like a bunch of fucking ravers and punks getting down to an Indian vocal in the middle of Smack My Bitch Up was like, my culture's part of this fucking country.
But then do you think now that like if an act came along like the Prodigy and sampled something like that, would it be seen in that way of like, oh, this is really cool, you're promoting it, or would it be seen as like you're appropriating it?
And it's about nuance, right? So it's it's about nuance, right? So that's the whole thing. So going back to the BBC thing, so me and Bobby had this argument when eventually me and Dee got into Radio 1 as well, and even on the Asian network. The approach for some people was that as long as it sounds Asian, it belongs on the Asian network. And my argument was, you know, there's a lot of brown freaks out there that have nowhere to go, right? Yeah. That fucking make punk, they make drum and bass, they make all this music, and there's no home for them because unfortunately there is racial bias, right? You know, a producer or a label, when I say producer, I mean like an exec producer at the BBC, would see a track, if it's from someone brown, they'll shunt them across to the brown section.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not going to compete in the D&B world or in the punk world because they're just not white enough, unfortunately. That's the reality of it, you know? So there's nowhere for these brown freaks to go. So I'm of the mind that there is no, because I'm not into exoticizing or orientalizing the sound. Do you know what I mean? And that's my personal take. Whereas some people within the BBC might argue that, well, it's got to sound Indian to go in a certain slot. You know, I'm personally open to the fact that let's just fucking keep it real. So some people may use Indian samples in a way that is not shit. And that's the primary way of doing it. As long as it's not shit and it's still respect, who gives a fuck?
That is the fundamental point. It's like, yeah, you know, that's exactly it. It's like the two things that I think just hold true in sampling is, or any kind of thing like that, is, yes, like, one, it can't be whack. Because no matter what your intentions are or anything, if it's whack, it's whack and doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
And you know, and bruv, honestly, like my whole thing was seeing the Asian Underground thing happen. Talvin Singh in '97, Asian Dub Foundation, all the rest of it was like, finally, my culture is something I can be proud of after years of racism and stuff. And then what happened after that was Buddha Bar, and then the commodification of it, where every twat could just sample, throw in a fucking Indian sound, and sell 10,000 CDs and have nothing to do with the culture.
Yeah.
And it happened with rave music too. Things get commodified, right? And sorry, someone just put Eastern Jam in there. So yeah, Chase and Status, Eastern Jam, that's a great example of a good way of doing it. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, tune was heavy enough. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. You know what it is? It's like this. It's kind of similar to this in a way. It's not quite the same thing, but like people, a lot of people always see like UB40 as being like whack reggae, right?
I'm from Birmingham, and I kind of agree with that a little bit. But
True, but at the same time, I've also
big
heard
up
that
Jim. All units
UB40.
in the house, wicked. Big up Jim.
I've also heard that that like UB40 always made a point of all their cover versions finding out who the original Jamaican artists were and crediting them properly and giving them their publishing. So apparently there's like a bag of Jamaican artists who have had good retirements
because of UB40.
And there's probably a lot of people who see themselves as being a lot more urban or, you know, credible who didn't do any of that and made a lot of money without paying anyone originating. Do you know what I mean? So there's
Fair
that
enough.
as well.
Yeah, there's the behind the scenes stuff. And to be fair, as a Brummie, there's a bit of shame with UB40. I'm much more like proud of, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, for example, and metal than I am UB40. But, you know, respect to them for getting that money's back. But I don't know. I mean, you must get that. I mean, do you not feel that about sort of the whole scene as well with Manchester? You know, there's a kind of push to that when you're belonging to a scene, you get funneled into a way something should sound, right?
I think Manchester's. Do you know what's interesting with that? Because like Manchester's having a real resurgence at the moment. Like there's so much exciting stuff going on there. And I think Bristol could learn a lot from it, especially rap. Like people like Meeks, people like Tunde. You know, they're doing like authentic sounding Manchester rap and Manchester voices, and they're not just jumping on London drill beats. You know, they've got their own thing. So Manchester's always been a super independent city. It's got a super strong like sense of identity. But equally, when I was moved there in the late '90s, there were so many bands who just wanted to be Oasis, and you go to a gig, and there'd be some guy in the front, the microphone too high, wearing a parka, singing in a nasal whine. And I was just like, oh, you know what? And I think that probably put the city's sound back a long way. Do you know what I mean?
Is that where you moved to next up? Like, so after Yorkshire, you went to Manchester then?
So I was in Yorkshire till I was 18. Then I did like a little, you know, gap year thing of working 6 months in like various dodgy jobs in Hull, and I went to teach English in China for 6 months.
Okay, so you did the abroad gap year thing. I was like, really, bruv? Like, okay, fine.
No, I didn't do like a gap year.
Okay.
I didn't just go, you know, like traveling around
on your dad's
Southeast Asia on that. No, it's like I worked. What did I do? I did door-to-door sales, and then I worked in a greenhouse in near where I grew up, which was fucking horrible. I did door-to-door sales, which I quit one night in Leeds in November when it was like, this is freezing and I don't know where the fuck I am and this feels dodgy. Then I worked in a cake factory, started at 6 o'clock every morning.
Cake factory,
so I could go to China. And then, I basically just lived in like a pretty crummy part of southwest Shanghai where like there was just no foreigners went, teaching in an aviation college for 6 months and then travelled around a bit and then came home. So anyway, then went to uni in Manchester, stayed on there for like 7 years after, and then I've been in Bristol for like 11 years now. So yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Which is max, I'm only 21.
Are you fuck? Are you fuck? If we met in 2007, you must be at least 25. Ha! Right. Has anyone got a question for Sam? Because I need to piss, and I want to leave you with a question while I go to do it and come back. Right, come on. Anyone got a question for Sam? So I can go wee? Come on. There must be some checkings.
There's some we can go back through. I give some shout outs as well. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Shout out R.I.P. Jamal Khashoggi. Who else we got?
There's a question here saying, how did you meet Redders? Are you based in Bristol too? So yeah, you're based in Bristol, but yeah.
Where did I meet Redders? Okay, yeah. Well, right, Nerm, I'll take this. You go and you go pee. Just don't take the mic with you. Right, Redders. I first heard of Redders. Again, this was the tail end of the Breaks days. And this was also when Clips was changing from Clips to Red Light. And he had a Redders vocal on one of his tunes. I think it's called Twist Up. Twist Up the style, get physical. Lyrical style, then digital. And I was like, yo, this guy's sick. And I think I'd just moved to Bristol at the time and managed to find some people that knew him. I think it was Coast from Dirkle Disco because they were in Central Spills together. So I just reached out and got him down the studio. And the first tune we made was AO. which is probably still one of my favorite tunes that I've done, or the one of the best tunes we've done together. So yeah, just kind of like vibe in the studio from instantly. Do you know what I mean? And like that's great that it was able to happen so much. Yo, Chris, what up? How you doing, man? Yeah, fucking whole crew. Yeah, hope you're well, bro. Long time. We failed to meet up all them shows in Leeds, but never mind. Hopefully, post pandemic we can do it again. So yeah, so that's how I met Redders, and yeah, man. You know what, Chris? I often think about how Hull in the '90s had that point where it felt like it was about to do something exciting. Like you had that shop Space, do you remember that? Which sold vinyl and that kind of Stussy and some streetwear. There was like Rock City, the skate park opened, and like it felt like it was gonna. It was there was like a bit of a sort of counterculture thing happening, and then I go back there recently, and it just looks like it's definitely struggling. So I feel lucky in a way that we got to experience Hull at a point when it was starting to do some stuff. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. Big ups to Dan from Brazil, and yeah. Any more questions? Hit us up, unless Nerm's back and he's in full effect.
Hello. Okay, so listen, I just had a think when I was like sat on the toilet having my sit down wee, as you do. The whole idea of Hull, there's got to be a homecoming EP called The Incredible Hull, with you in fucking green and shit.
You know what? There's actually a rapper from Hull that I'd quite like to work with. A guy called Araka. He represents like North Hull, and he's actually kind of sick. So yeah, maybe I need to link up with him and do that. You know what though? I've never had any love from Hull. I've played one show in Hull my entire life. You know what I mean? So it's just for some reason I've not had any support from Hull, which is okay. Like why should they? They don't owe me anything. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, I've never really been like hometown gigs or anything like that, you know.
But, you know, it's a bit like Hendrix leaving America to come to England and then go back. You can always sort of, you know, build your reputation, then go back home.
I don't think anyone gives a shit.
But you know what? I mean, there's the other thing about how you've managed to transcend so many genres, which I wanted to get to, about sort of basically representing in fucking so many scenes and carrying that authenticity. So, for example, if like when Todd Terry made a drum and bass tune, like Blackout, it was all right, but it didn't really have the same movement, right? If someone in dubstep, you know, there was that whole silo thing. But like I said before, you've managed to smash through that. How? How have you managed to replicate the same feeling of all these scenes so authentically? I know that's a bit of a blowing smoke up your ass question, which wasn't the intention, but like, you know,
well,
what's the key, bro?
It's also linked to how handsome I am and how witty and charming I am, and you know how no gal can resist me. So yeah, it's all linked. No,
I think the secret's in the top knot that you had, and also, why the fuck did you have a Shoreditch bun for so long?
Do you know what? Okay, right, I'll go with that one first. I had the top knot because for like all of my 20s, even though I'm 21, for all of my 20s, I had a shaved head. Because I just like my family were just not a family that cared about fashion. Like they were just they had no idea about like clothes or you know some people's.
Sorry, what's changed? No, I'm joking. Go
Hey, you know what I mean? But like you know some people's parents are like, right, son, you're 13, you're a teenager now. To go out and get your first pair of Adidas Sambas or whatever, or just sort of Nike Air Force Ones.
What? Who the fuck does that?
Some people have cool parents. I know it's shocking.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Mine the opposite of that. So my whole childhood I had like the shittest haircuts and like even less drip than I do now. And my drip now is mostly stuff people send me. So basically I went to uni. I was like, wait, I can shave my head. I don't have to have a haircut. I can just shave my hair off. So I spent like the whole of my 20s with a bald head to the point where when I started growing it with an idea of like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a top knot. I'm gonna get the most stupid haircut I can think of. All of my friends in Bristol were like, what? We thought you were bald. I was like, no, I just shaved it. So it was just a reaction from having like 10 years of a shaved head and being like, fuck it, I'm going to do something stupid.
That's overcompensating like a motherfucker. That's like when a membrane gets pushed so far in one direction, it has to bounce back to another, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was a bit of that really. But do you know what? It kind of worked as well because it was a sort of talking point in a way and like it became a jokey thing, you know? Like I'd get people like wearing fake top knots to gigs or like you know I think one critical show at Fabric it was my birthday weekend. I think it was one of the critical shows at Fabric where I had to go and play bass coast in Canada the next night, so it was a mad weekend and like the critical guys had made up a one-away T-shirt which said like we said, you know, top notch rule supreme for me to wear, you know.
That's amazing. Because I remember when
anyway, on to like the smoky ass question, like how am I so amazing?
the
thing is,
but that's not what I meant. Okay, let me rephrase that.
Though.
Let me rephrase that. Is that how are you able to chameleon between genres without being found out that you're faking it?
Well, I think probably partly just constant terror that I will be. And like, I'll be real with you, like right now, me and Hieroglyphics are starting to like work on more just like straight up rap beats, like, you know, just stuff that people can spit on and, you know, you could hear on One Extra or whatever. And like, it's a struggle, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not my comfort zone. And so I'm having to work at it and like really make sure that what I'm doing is good. And like, I'm not sure I've quite got there yet with like stuff. Luckily Matt is sick, so he kind of, you know, pulls me up in it. But like, I just think the thing everyone's got to remember is that people say all this like, oh, you do this, you do that, whatever. But like, none of you hear the stuff that doesn't make it out of the studio. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I make a lot of terrible music. Everyone does. Like, no one, or, you know, like barely anyone releases 100% of what they make. And if they do, they're insane or they're just a genius, because it's like, you know, you have to make 10 shit tunes to make a good one.
I think that was it. It was like, obviously as a big Prince fan, because like motherfuckers here constantly. Like he put out as much as he fucking could, but there's a lot of shit in the vault that's even like terrible. So you have to sift through eventually, like to get to the gems. Yeah. And you kind of want to make sure people get the gems first, right?
Yeah, completely. You know, it's like, I think a big part of becoming an artist is learning self-criticism. Like when you're starting out, the hardest thing is getting proper feedback, because if your mates don't know how to make a tune and they just like enjoy listening to music, most people, you play them your track, they'll be like,
"That's wicked,
sick, mate. You made a tune, amazing, brilliant." To actually find someone that can be like, "Okay, this is good, but here's where it's not up to par."
Yeah,
that's invaluable, and I think that's why, like, you know, people are always sending you tunes saying like, "Can I get your thoughts, need some feedback?" And it's like, yeah. So you know, that's the difficult thing, and so I think over time you start to figure out like, okay, actually, this is cutting it or this isn't, you know, and it's like. It's that just takes time to train your ear. There's no shortcuts. You know what I mean?
I think it's fascinating because I've got a lot of love for India, obviously being of the brown and loving underground music. And I think that there was a point where a big up Stretch MC in the Cots. I love you, Stretch. Amazing. Sam, did you?
Cut Gams as well. Yes, we do have some more drill bits going. Yeah, definitely.
Did you play any festivals with us in India? Did we play the same festival?
I did Was it Sunsplash or Sunburn?
Sunburn. No, that wasn't with us.
No, I just did the. That was the one. I didn't do Magnetic Fields. I've not done Magnetic Fields. I've not done. I did.
Like Supersonic.
No, I don't think so. I did the. What was Saheel's thing? Bass
camp.
I did the base camp thing. Like
right.
Run a
big up Saheel. Big up Crunk. Yeah.
All day, every day. Amazing people.
Because I was trying to work out where we were. Maybe it was
in Mumbai.
Dude, it wasn't you. It was fucking Chimpo. I'm being racist. All white people look the same. It was where. I'm so sorry. It was fucking Chimpo. There, Stretches in the comments saying yeah, it was Chimpo. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, you can't really mistake it. You have a different silhouette. But I mean that's. Yes, exactly. It's just chilly. All I see is just white face, and then you know. Forgive me for my racial blindness.
White face and imperialism, yeah. That's what we represent. I get it. You know.
I mean, bruv, it's just you know, it all blurs. It's all the same to me now. But then no, because Chloe was out there. Big up Barely Legal. Yes, at the same time.
100%.
What the fuck was it? I was going to tell a story about that, but it doesn't really
equate in festivals.
Yeah, but you weren't there, so it doesn't make any fucking sense.
We met at some like launch party or after party.
It was at a party above this restaurant in Bombay, and I was shit-faced after 3 days of playing. I was on tour as well. God, I miss touring, actually, thinking about it. I complained about it constantly. But we were at the bar of this private thing, and then you played a set that was so commercial because we were all shit-faced. Do you remember this?
Oh, this was the one. This was in Goa, wasn't it?
No. This was in Bombay, and you played a super like I don't even know what it was. You were on a proper R&B tip, but it wasn't even.
That was Goa. The R&B tip was Goa. That was in Goa. That
Was
was
it?
after Suns. Yeah, that was in Goa, and it was like Prash Engineers was back to back with Prash, right?
So me, Prash, Pavan, and
Yeah.
Ali, our lawyer friend, did the programming for Supersonic, right? And that's probably what I'm thinking about.
No, okay, that one. Yeah, that
Because
one.
then Sunburn and Supersonic are rivals in Goa, rival festivals, and they're
The
around
set
the
you're
same
thinking
time. And
of,
then
the set you're thinking of, that was at the after party in Goa. But I'm not sure we actually clocked to each other. If we met, we didn't. It wasn't like we were both knackered or spangled or both.
yeah,
But the one where we actually were like, oh my god, wait, you're Nerm, wait, you're Baobinga. That was above a bar in Mumbai.
yeah.
But the super commercial set was in Goa, and that was just like, yo, this is. I was just like, this is a bar in the warm weather in the evening. I think some D&B guy being on before playing like this rinsing fucking banging stuff, and everyone was just a bit like.
It's a bit too much. It was a bit too much
And
for
I was
that
like,
one.
you know
Yeah.
what? I just want to hear Sierra. So I just got on. I was like, you might think that I'm just the young, but and baby, this is what I'm looking for, a sexy independent girl. You know, and I was just like went on from that because I was like, who doesn't like R&B? R&B is amazing. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's here with cocktails. There's a load of girls here. Like people don't need to hear the most banging underground shit. They want to hear some fun stuff that's not whack. I didn't play anything that I didn't believe in, but I was like, switch the vibe a bit, you know what I mean?
I love that defense there because you know what I didn't hear was any Boys to Men, bro. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for Aaliyah and Boys to Men and some fucking Destiny's Child, but I didn't hear any of it. No, I was disappointed, bro.
Well, you know what? When this pandemic's over, I'll come and play you a special extra cheese R&B set.
A '90s R&B set, bro. I've been, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. You know J. Paul's album, right? Like everyone knows J. Paul's album, the one that got fucking. He basically sampled shitloads of obscure '90s R&B in the whole thing.
It's amazing.
And I reckon you can clear that shit super cheap because there's so much of it. And the same as Burial as well.
Yeah. No, it's honestly like the '90s R&B was obviously it's like a cliche now, but it was such a inspiring time. Like so many, like even some of the rhythms back then. There's so much mad rhythms, mad choppage going on, and like obviously R&B as well is like just it's just like the best singers in the world. It's like all the best R&B singers came through the black church, so they all grew up singing these like insane harmonies. And from what I've read about like black choirs, it's like they don't hold back on criticism. Like if you're not killing it in the rehearsals, they'll let you know. Do you know what I mean?
You're not good enough for God.
Mm.
It's that fucking like. I mean, so people in the comments like, yeah, PM Dawn, SWV, En Vogue, yeah, but there's a whole raft of motherfuckers that no one's ever heard of that can sing just as well.
Yeah,
which is amazing. There's like, what was it? There's this track by J. Paul called Baby Beat. Hang on a second.
meat.
Baby Beat.
All right, not
In
baby
fact,
meat, delicious, soft, tender baby meat.
The other white
both
meat.
sides.
The other white meat. Yes. Wait, let me just find this. Baby Beat. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up and try and play it without getting bad. Check this intro out. If it plays. Ah, come on, you bastard. This is my raid fucking up.
Oh man, yeah. So just for the chat, that comment, we've both been suffering from hard disk problems today. Flipping, yeah. My main work hard disk is busy collapsing. Luckily, it's all kind of blown on a daily, so I think I'm okay. But like, oh man, what a day.
Okay, got it.
All right.
So that baby bit is sampled from fucking Babyface, apparently. No, it's that, if you ever fall in love again, you must be sure that the lady is a friend. That it's the beginning of that. Yeah.
Sick. Sampling, do you know what? Sampling's a weak point of mine. I need to get better at sampling. Like working with Addison Groove kind of just taught me how sick Ableton is for sampling and how you can just get so much out of it. Like I've always wanted, I'm a proper nerd, so I've always wanted to like delve into synthesis and like, oh, how can I make my own stuff and all this? And it's like at the end of the day, like being able to sample is such a skill, and I'm not that great at it. So I definitely want to work on that. Yeah.
Because I thought that your whole approach, and especially because Jim's on the chat and you work with Jim, like Jim's amazing at getting beats and restructuring them to create whole new grooves, right? So big up Orm Unit for creating whole new vibes you didn't expect from a pre-existing beat. And you as an artist, without blowing smoke up your ass, being able to reinterpret the world around you, you'd imagine that grabbing a sample and fucking up would be a major skill.
Honestly, it's like I've never really focused on sampling, and also in some ways it's good because you don't have to worry about clearance, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You know, it's like, and I guess I've always wanted to like be able to prove to myself in one of these pointless challenges you set yourself.
I made it all.
Yeah, kind of like I know I can go behind this. I can go behind and see what's happening at the nuts and bolts level. But the thing is, certain times you can't because, like, when you sample, you're not just getting the notes, you're getting the ambience of the studio, you're getting the crack of the vinyl, all this other stuff. Certain times you can't do that. So it's something I definitely want to get better at. But
I'm shocked to hear that, bro, because I always thought that was a major part of it, especially after hearing. So for like that whole ninja slicing skill that Jim has, I heard that in Sambata, right? That whole remix, like you reconfigured it to be a whole new fucking feel.
I mean, I'm not saying I can't do it. It's just
yeah.
I'll work with Addison, right, with Tony, and he'll like drag in a Katy Perry a cappella, and I'll be like, what on earth are you doing? And then like 5 minutes later, it's unrecognizable. He's taken like a backwards breath from minute 3, like her tapping the mic with her finger by mistake at the start, and he's made it into a sick hook. And it's like, it's that kind of sampling, do you know what I mean? Where it's like just fearlessness, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Which I think Shadow had a bit of that, but he kind of used whole chunks. And it was more like it was more like collage than engineering them, I guess.
What, Shadow?
Yeah, DJ Shadow.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think we all probably like, geeked out and introducing and then got a bit sick of it. I know I was like, played it every day for a month and I was like, okay, I've had enough of that now.
Oh, mate, I was on about, I'm still on about like the Uncle album, science fiction. Like for me, the fact that they used Boba Fett's first appearance from the holiday special Star Wars thing just gets me hard.
That's it. Like I've never been a digger like that. Like this is the thing about Jim. Jim is Jim's like a proper digger. Like, where he goes deep in record shops. He'll go on these deep missions online, and it's like I sort of don't have the patience for that. Same with Matt Hargreaves as well. He's sick at like just trawling the weird dark depths of the net to find cool samples and like.
So do you go?
Never been my thing.
Like, do you go deep in the engineering? Because I can't do that. That whole fucking going in and engineering hard. Is that what you do then?
Yeah, like I mean, there's a lot of better engineers than me, but like I feel like I've got an understanding of most of it. Whether I apply it well or not is a different thing. And some of my samples are still crap. My engineering is still crap, but like and synthesis as well. And I like to record a lot of my own sounds, like getting a microphone. And someone mentioned about recording nature. I did a whole project where I went to Ireland with a friend and recorded like the sound of the Irish West Coast and like made loops out of that and then dubbed that out at Dub Chasm Studio in Bristol and made an album like that. But nobody really
dubbed it out in the old school way of bring it to a desk and then bring it to a delay
proper,
and all that.
Like old school dubbing, yeah. Like.
And by the way, Jim just clarified that Fracture's the deeper guy. Yeah.
Fracture is insane with it. Like, Charlie will be like, this break, but have you heard this break, this sample of that break, which then got resampled by this guy, and that's really the one you want to go for. And it's like, we did a tune together called Gripping Grain, and then for ages on it in about like we need to do a VIP of it. We finally did it, and like, the break he used for that was one of these ones where it was a Hot Pants or a Think or something that had been sampled by a rap group and then sampled by somebody else, and he was like, I've been meaning to use this for years, and it was like that was the right time to use that second generation of it. So yeah,
that's wicked. That's wicked. Do you find how do you that sense of fun that you have in all your tunes, right? How do you keep that without getting so fucking nerdy you get clinical?
I always separate the writing and the mixing a lot.
Yeah.
I like writing is one thing, and that's just throwing ideas at the screen and having a fun with it, and like just trying to capture a vibe, trying to capture energy.
Yeah.
And then when I've got that, then I bounce it all to audio. I start a new project, and now it's like nerding time, and it's like, okay, does this snare crack how it needs to?
And this is me asking because I've had this issue. Is that the creation part where you're throwing shit at the wall and you're fucking collaging shit and it's fun? then sound design starts creeping in, right? And you're like, oh, it doesn't sound quite right. So it's a bit of a fucking thing where you go into the science aspect of it, and the vibe can go.
That's why I separate them. That's why I separate them completely, because it's like, okay, yeah, this tune now, you know, you get to the point where like this tune works, the arrangement flows, it's interesting all the way through. It says what it needs to say. The vibe is right, cool. And even at that point, it might be like, okay, I can throw a limiter on this and test it out. You know, back when we had gigs. But no, but then at that point,
back when we had gigs.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then it's like, yeah, for me, trying to, because yeah, if you start getting nerding into it, like, okay, do I need to do a this to the that of it, and is the mid sides balance correct, whatever. So, you know, it's yeah, just separating it out so that you can just put a different head on, because they are different approaches. It's like, yeah, one, they're both creative, but in very different ways. You know what I mean? So, like, separating them is the way to do it to me.
So Jim in the comments, All Munit in the comments, is just saying, ask about Wasted Days. I reckon it's on about the Shadow record, right?
I don't know. I did an album called Wasted Days as well, so I don't
Did
know which
you?
one he's on about.
Wait, hang on a second. Let me just unplug this, because I think I've got a 7-inch by Shadow called Wasted Days. Is it your EP? I think it must be talking about your EP. Yeah, go on, tell us about that.
I mean, Jim's. Well, let's get some clarification. Jim, are you talking about Wasted Days, the Shadow 7-inch?
The Shadow 7-inch I've got called Dark Days. I'm talking shit. Sorry.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yeah. So definitely about yours. Yeah, Slept on LP, Wasted Days.
Well, you know what? It's weird. Like that Wasted Days, for it being slept on. Like I'm not sure. You know, at the time, I mean, it's 5 years, 6 years old now. So at the time, it definitely had an impact. Like, you know, I thought the album when I finished writing it, I was like, right.
When I finished writing it, that's amazing.
I finished writing it.
I finished writing it, and yes.
I finished writing the album, and then I released the album. But I was like, yo, this is terrible. Critical have gone mad. Kazra has lost his cut down mind, and this is going to be a disaster. So I went and got a job teaching at a local music college, because I was like, well, I fucked my career with this terrible album.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah, I went and got a job teaching, because I was like, this is just appalling.
Because, bro, I wanted to say that when I was looking through your catalogue, apart from all the shit that I've got saved offline, I went on Apple Music and it didn't come up as your album.
Really?
On Apple Music, just so you're aware. Yeah.
I'll double check that. But yeah, so yeah, you know, so I thought it was just like, this is not going to do anything. And then within 6 months releasing it, I basically had to quit the teaching job, because I was traveling around the world. You know, I was
sick.
Like, in fact, actually, the day it got released, I had a show in Thailand. Right, it was my first time in Thailand. I was in Bangkok for 24 hours, and I remember landing in Bangkok, and I kind of, you know, went to the hotel, and then I woke up. The album had been released. It seemed to be doing okay, but I was just on my own in a hotel in Bangkok with no one that I knew, no idea what was going on, just feeling very alone. It was just such a surreal experience.
Dude, that shit is horrible. That solo shit is horrible.
Okay, Jim says Slept On is in first D&B style tunes with Warrior Queen and Ryder Shafiq. I mean, I'd like to think that, well, that's very kind. Like, you know, again, I love vocals. I think vocals are super important. I really enjoy working with them. And it was amazing to get those vocals on it. Like, you know, Ryder on Mind and Spirit he killed it. Warrior Queen on Wasted Days is amazing. Obviously, the Sully remix took that to a whole next level. So, you know, if I played a small part in people looking for different vocalists in drum and bass, then brilliant. Do you know what I mean? That's enough. That's enough. And if it helped anybody in any way get paid, then that's enough for me. Do you know what I mean? And
also really fucking good music.
Yeah, whatever. It's all right. But yeah.
I love how, you know what? That's as the sign of a true artist, someone that hates their back catalogue.
I mean, no, you know what? Like, I don't hate this. The thing is, the beats on that I like the most, as always, are the ones that didn't do too well. Like, I think Bad Man's Skin with Redders. I love that. I think I just heard Lemonade by Sophie or Blip, where it's all the kind of like popping noises. So I did my my own version of that and my own kind of weird lo-fi version of that and got Redders on, and I love that. But like, it never gets mentioned. You know what I mean? Same with Pound for Pound with Ryder and Redders. Like that was that I love that beat, because it's got about, you know, I normally overfill my music with a million sounds, and that one is like an 808, a clap, a hi-hat, and a breath sample. Do you know what I mean? So you know, and again, like, it's the Serum remix of that gets all the plays on Spotify. The original is, you know, people have forgotten about. but you know, Serum's taken it and made it into a thing where it's like, this is a banger that you know, for the dance floor in this kind of way, and he's done a great job on it.
Well, that's the thing. The pound for pound. That is it. That same one. Yeah, it is that one.
The album, yeah.
Yeah, it is that one. It's the one before that, Run the Dance, with Slicked On, fellow Brummy, which I love because it just mentions Birmingham and I'm like, yes! It overrides that UB40 reference you were talking about earlier.
Droitwich massive. But,
Droitwich Spa. Fuck.
Again though, it's just like, it was just this thing of like, I think I was probably like that kind of, not that I was young when I made that, but I was younger. And I think it was this kind of slight arrogance of not being in the scene and being like, this shit needs to be shaken up.
But you know what, bro? That's it, right? And I don't want to like say any false equivalency here at all. But I personally have found that when you're on the fringe of everything, you don't live and die by any scene. You can do whatever the fuck you want to. For me personally, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a similar thing for you, where you can just do what the fuck you want rather than having to live and die by one scene's rise and fall.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I grew up on drum and bass. I remember going in Manchester, going to a fucking thugged out night, drum and bass night at the Havana club called Viagra Fools, and the slogan was, for those who like it hard all night, and it was just all night, just like rinsing D&B. So like, you know, I grew up on this shit. You know, when I first heard Modus Operandi by Photech, it changed my life, whatever, you know, all that stuff. So I do love the music, but I think... I mean,
you've just given two completely different examples there, by the way.
Which is the whole point, you know what I mean? That's the fun point of this, you know? So, but then, you know, like I kind of... It's a mad journey. I didn't make drum and bass when I first started making dance music because I was scared that wouldn't do it justice. I loved
it's
it so
intimidating
much.
as fuck, and that's the beauty of it, right? It's so intimidating that you don't want to fuck up because it's just too difficult and...
Yeah, the levels are so high.
Yeah, but also that because of that intimidation, there have been several other scenes that happen because of it, right? So Armand Valhelden trying to get into UK jungle, going back and making Speed Garage because they wouldn't let him in, is fucking sick. And then
completely,
you know, it's awesome. But also, I think that there's that whole, you know, hybridization and the weirdness we spoke about earlier that all feeds into it. And that's, again, going back to Jim, one of the things that I really respect about Jim is that going from Two Tool to Unit and just relentlessly doing new shit has been fascinating to watch.
Yeah, completely. And I think, you know, I mean, I think that some of the sort of most fun I've had in the studio was when me and Jim were doing a lot of the Bunnet records, or the Bunnet, technically Bunnet, Binga Unit, Bunnet, but everyone thought it was Bunnet, and like, oh man, you guys must smoke Blaze Mad Weed. It's like, not really, man. But yeah, so technically it's Bunnet. But
are there any other aliases you've produced under?
Say what? Sorry.
Are there any other aliases you've produced under that no one knows about?
Actually, I mean, no, nothing's been kept secret. Do you know what I mean? I've not got like a polka back catalogue. You know, so yeah. So like,
I've not got a polka back catalogue. As in, by the way, polka is the only reason I know that is from Good Morning Vietnam.
I know nothing about polka. Just know that it's Polish and it's a great word. You know what I mean?
Really?
But, yeah, I think polka's Polish. But anyway, so like with the, you know, like I think, you know, both me and Jim kind of came from a similar way in the sense that like we both grew up on jungle and drum and bass and we loved it, but we wanted to try and do a flip on it. We'd both kind of gone on our own journeys. Like, you know, Jim had the whole Too Tall and scratching thing. Jim, I apologise if I'm speaking to you here. Feel free to correct in the chat.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna do one of these with Jim later, so you can just say to fuck off.
You can correct my bullshit, but like I think we'd both had like a long musical journey that had been away from jungle D&B, and we kind of came back to it at quite an older age. And it was like we both had this feeling, I think, of like there's no point in us just adding what's already there. We've got to try and do something different. And I think, you know, that you can hear that in both of what we've done in different ways, you know, from then onwards.
So it was intentional to do that.
Very much so, and it was intentional why I got people like Slick Don on, because I was like, you know, I love grime. I love the aesthetic of grime. I love the fact that it was like these lo-fi claps and it was like everything pushed in the red. It was like, well, why has no one done this in D&B? Yeah. I'm going to try it. Let's get an MC on. Let's get someone different. Slick. Let's get Slick Don on. Sick. Do you know what I mean? So it was this very, very sort of definite thing of like, what can we bring to this scene that we love? That it's not, it's that the people who are in it, who are like pushing it to all these amazing levels, but maybe in a certain set of directions.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see a different side of it that like that's just not quite there. I'm not trying to cuss D&B at all. Do you know what I mean?
Rob, as a fan, it totally excited me. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, fuck. So, like, back on, one of the best things that happened to me was going from Radio 1 to 6 Music, because I love the weirdest shit. And getting anything at 160 to 170 that was different was my fucking jam. You know, I was just like, that's it. And what was happening at that time where everyone was embracing it seemed really natural but exciting. And the fact that it was planned is even better. Like, a distinct focus of it, to say that we want to make something different is awesome.
I mean, it's a weird one. I don't want to say that, like, you know, we sat down with a pen and paper and like, okay, this is the plan.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but also, like, it's that kind of risk and that danger that it won't translate to the dance, it won't translate to radio. You know what I mean? There's that whole, like, unknown element of it, right?
I think the best dance music always has a point where it's going to empty dance floors at the start. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a great interview with Loafer where he says that, like, you know, when the halftime thing came out, he emptied floors for 6 months.
It was the intros thing, right? It was the whole intros thing. But then so did Metalheads. So Metalheads did that. So did Giles. So did Ninja Tune. Everyone emptied dance floors constantly.
Yeah, I think, like, to push things forward, you have to risk that possibility. You know what I mean? So and we were very lucky as well. Like, I think it was that whole time when we broke through the sort of 2013 to 2015. Like, D&B was in a really receptive place. Like, we made some weird shit, and we broke some rules, whatever, and fair play to them. Like, people embraced it, you know. Like, AO was basically a hip hop tune at 170, and it was like a big tune Outlook that year. Everyone battered it. So like, you know, D&B, while it can be quite insular, like, it can also embrace some weird shit when it wants to.
I think it had to adapt post dubstep for sure. Had to fucking adapt. I'm a bit pissed now. I think I've, like, battered half a bottle of this while talking to you. It's like, phew. And actually, someone mentioned Spooky. Is that DJ Spooky's Productions you're talking about?
Because I thought the grind guy.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. I'm old. I'm that fucking old.
No, I remember Spooky from back in those days as well. So yeah.
It's on the Spawn soundtrack. Fuck. But that's it. You know, as honestly, as a music fan that always loved the weird shit, because I came from metal into jungle, like, you know, and being the weird fucker in Birmingham that was in the back rooms listening to, like, Doc Scott play of big, like, techno gigs and stuff in 94, 95. All of this really excites me, you know, when everything just breaks down. So yeah, so thanks for fucking doing it.
Well, mate, I mean, didn't have a choice really. Like, again, because when Sam Binga kicked off, right? Before that, I'd been.
And what's your real name, by the way?
Say what?
What's your real name?
Sam
Simpson,
yeah.
That's your real name. So where did the Binga bit come from? Because it's Baobinga, which
That's
is like.
Where I come from. Everyone in Bristol called me Binga, so I was like, I'll just name myself Sam Binga. You know what I mean?
So where did the Bao bit come from in your breaks thing?
That was from living in Shanghai, and it was like a sort of a Baobinga was like a kind of slush puppy sort of ice and slush puppy stroke melted ice pudding type thing. And I came back and I was like, I had a demo, like a sort of breaks demo, and I was like, right, I can't think of a name. What was that pudding I used to eat in Shanghai? Oh yeah, that'll do. I'll think of a better name. And anyway, I'm not going to get signed off. This is my first demo. I'm not going to get signed off it. Obviously, I got signed, and they were like, we love the name. You got to keep it. And then I was stuck with it for like ages, and no one could spell it or pronounce it. I used to fly around the world to see people, you know, just misspell my name and mispronounce it. You know.
That's so funny, because I thought it was like Bao as in like the bun.
No, it's not. I mean, that would be more. That's more known nowadays. But yeah, the Baobinga is
also,
like a sort of icy pudding.
I'm not sure we met when I did my radio show when you came on as a guest as ID and Sam Binga, or Baobinga, sorry. Maybe it was a phone call, so I didn't know whether you were a rotund gentleman that enjoyed Bao.
I'm sure we did that show in person, didn't we?
I think so too. I mean, it was a period of my life where it was a weekly thing, and it was a lot of turnover, and I was a dickhead. But you know, less of a dickhead than I am now, I guess. Younger. But yeah, I'm sure we met in person too.
Yeah, no, we definitely did. I'm sure. I think we did that show in person because that's why I recognised you in Mumbai.
So did you guys come to the Radio 1 building when we were pre-recording it?
I think so. Yeah, I think
So it was
we
you
drove
and
down to
Ed,
Manchester.
right?
Yes. So what was that question again?
It was you and Ed. So it was
Yeah, me and
ID
Ed,
and
yeah,
Baobinga. Yeah. Okay, definitely, yeah. But you didn't look particularly rotund, I guess. That's probably the point. The connection of the bow.
I've been blessed with a fairly fast metabolism my whole life. You know what I mean? I'm quite lucky. I feel like you are as well.
Oh yeah, mate. It's like throwing shit against a Teflon wall. Nothing sticks. It's
Which
ridiculous.
I do that a lot as well, to be honest. So yeah.
We're just fling
Literally
shit at all.
It's
Well, you're in the bank vault, bro. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I'm sure you've been testing the laser security and shit by just chucking stuff around. And also, by the way, someone in the comments is just saying the bun hairdo, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
Replicating the bow.
But yeah, no, this is the mad thing with the whole when the Sam Binga thing started, right? Before that, I'd spent a few years making with me and Ed ID from Baobinga ID. We'd been making this kind of slow-mo house and disco as Bailing and Simpson, and that was going super well for like 3 years. That was going really, really well, and like we were getting paid like really good money for gigs because house music just has money. You know, house music has money, and you know,
Well, it's more accessible, right? It's
yeah, it's the biggest music. It always will be. It's the most accessible beat. So, and we were a fresh sound on it, and like I remember we were sat in the pub one Christmas, and we were like, you know what? If these trends continue, then next year we could make some actual money. Trends did not continue, and you know, Ed had to. Ed was like, you know what? I can't live like this anymore. I've got a serious girlfriend. I'm in a serious relationship. I need to be able to provide. He went off and got a job that he really enjoys now. And exactly that same point, me and Jim made a track called Triffids, which Exit signed. And at that point, you know, the kind of the half step thing kicked off. And so, like, literally, as the one thing ended, I was like, well, I've either got to do something else or I've got to get a job. And luckily, Sam Binga kicked off at that point, and it worked. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. In the comments, thank God, you're absolutely right. That's fucking sick. So, did you and Jim just do that together then, like just as a whim? In fact, definitely, because that's 2015. So Jim was already doing the Ominent thing way before that.
When did Triffids? I think Triffids was wrote quite a long time before it came out. So I don't think Jim was even living in Bristol at that point. I just loved I loved the slow-mo Omunit stuff, like the chord.
I mean, the whole term slow fast, which I hate using because it's obviously a piss take, was just perfect. 2012, yeah.
So Jim wasn't even living in Bristol at that point, and I think we'd got him down. We used to do a sort of a semi-club night from this studio. You could fit 20 people in, and it felt absolutely heaving. We used to it was pre-boiler room. We used to stream it like live from my laptop in the back room, and you know, then we'd all get subloaded afterwards.
That's a question for you, bro. So if we're talking about politics and shit and surviving COVID and stuff, so I noticed that 2020 you had a fuckload of releases. Just there was like a lot of music coming from you. Shit, is this wise? Fuck it. How do you feel about certain online entities getting a shitload of funding?
I mean,
not naming names, but it fucks me off massively. But
yeah, it's a weird one. It's the problem is that like there's as much as like you can try and get rid of gatekeepers. There's always some kind of gatekeeping, and even I think with a lot of this, the natural gatekeeping is like, do you know how to write a grant application?
Yeah, it's navigating the systems. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And like, I think that the problem is that it's like anything in creative industries. Like, the more successful you are, the more success you have. It's like the person that really needs to get a free drum machine isn't going to get one. It's going to be the person who's had the big tune last week. That's true. Because they're more valuable for the company to sponsor them with the drum machine. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? That's very true. You're 100% correct. I remember going back in the vinyl days where there was an argument that every DJ that has to sort of beg, borrow, and steal for that one tune, you know, does that. But the people that don't need the tunes get sent them.
Always. It's how it works. It's like, you know, who's going to be more, if you look at it in a very mercenary way, who's going to be more benefit to me playing my tune? Is it going to be like, you know, Ray Keith at the end in '99, or is it going to be, you know, me in Hull in my bedroom or whatever? You know, it's like. I
mean, no shit. Obviously, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
course.
So it's like,
yeah.
so they're all individually, the decisions all make sense, but the net result is maybe not great. And it's the same thing with all this kind of stuff. It's like the people that know how to access funding, that know how to write grants, they already are going to be doing well in that scene, and they're going to be more able to access it. So it's kind of like a natural issue almost. I think some of them have done better than others. Like I think the developing your creative practice grant, like that's got a lot of potential to be really good things. But like I think like with a lot of these grants where they're trying to where they want to encourage people from different backgrounds to apply, they almost need to offer mentoring for the application process.
Yeah, some actual guidance notes. But even then, the notes are just so fucking whatever. Yeah, I think you're right. Actual mentorship to guide them through that process would be useful.
I mean, like professional artists, like a full-time professional like visual artist, apparently that's like half of their time is basically spent securing grants. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I can see that.
The whole world, there's a whole rigmarole and a whole system to like accessing that world, and I think that's kind of the bigger issue. Like at the end of the day, if you're offering free money to people in a pandemic, everyone's going to want it. It's just the question is, you know, you can't fault people for wanting to be able to get funding and secure their existence. But the problem is more that the funding should itself be focused better and targeted and provide support for other people to get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And be accessible to those people in their skill set rather than just being able to fill out a fucking form.
Exactly. I mean, this you know what? Like, there's I've having a lot of conversations recently with a friend of mine called Blazy, who's a mixed race guy who has been like instrumental behind the scenes in dance music in Bristol for a long time, and we talk about the shuffling scene a lot. You know, like the deep tech scene, as it was called, like basically like modern black house music, and it got like no coverage in the mainstream dance music press. But you'd go to the raves in Birmingham, in Bristol, whatever, and it would be like fucking popping off to this whole scene, which got like laughed at and dismissed and seen as being irrelevant. And like there was that guy last year who wrote, I can't remember his name, but he wrote a whole article talking about how much coverage these scenes and this scene got in Resident Advisor,
Yeah,
to name a random name.
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They've got like $500,000 in funding. Yeah.
Exactly. yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who'd know? But you know what I mean? But versus like.
Wait, is that room temperature? No, it's boiling. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, there was this. You know, there's still scenes that are like completely are what dance music's supposed to be about, but because they weren't tapped into that seed, that kind of infrastructure, they got ignored and weren't written about. And like, part of that is systemic ignorance, and part of it's maybe small touch of just kind of like maybe systemic racism as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's we have to be, and this links back to your thing about like, you know, authenticity and different sounds. It's like I try and be super fair in all my business dealings with people, you know. And you saw the thing with Jenna G recently. She was like, all these labels are ripping my shit off. Like I don't want to ever have that conversation where someone's like, Sam, you screwed me. Like, don't want to have that. Just can't be that guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
But isn't that also a northern thing?
No, there's because up north as well. Don't worry.
I mean, because just saying, because like, you know, going back to Factory Records, which is I'm going to actually I'm going to go for a piss and cover the mic, cover the camera. Right. I'm going to sit down and pee because it's fucking weird. We're in friendly modes now, so who cares? So it gives a shit. So the thing is that
that bathroom reverb. That bathroom reverb.
Yeah, man. Awesome. There you go. Sit down, pee. There you go. The thing is that Jenna's whole point is very, very, very valid, and it feeds into kind of a whole a point where you get a woman of color to do your BVs or your vocal, and then you make the money on the side. It's been going on for years in the music industry, right?
Yeah, completely.
And you've seen that documentary, 20 Feet from Stardom.
Actually, I haven't. No.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. So it starts off with the whole the track Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side, when he goes and the colored girls go do 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 do, and it just talks about all the colored women that have made all these songs massive.
Oh, I mean, the classic one's Ride on Time, Black Box. You know, it's like the singer is a big black woman with a gospel voice, and in the video it's a skinny mixed race model.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And so that equality is something that's been prevalent for so long. But how do you even begin to fucking change that perception of it?
I mean, it's a bigger thing than dance music, but I think dance music has to just be aware of its roots and its history. I think dance music, like I've been saying this whole thing. Oh my god, I'm gonna wait till it's over. Hang on a second.
No, it's fine, man. I'm just washing my hands, dude. I'm not fucking wiping or anything.
That's good to hear.
You can talk. Imagine
Stay
on the light.
secure.
Yeah. Don't go towards it.
It's a nice looking bathroom, bro.
Thanks, man.
But I just think that, like, again, because dance music is in many ways, like, you know, it's associated with like debauchery and nightlife and party and all that. It's like people maybe don't take it seriously, but this is an art form and this has got heritage and we're lucky to be a part of it. Like, we have to respect it, and I think that's what it needs to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But I don't, if there's a solution, I don't know what it actually, if there is one. But
well, accountability is a good part of it. And I think also publishing and sort of making sure people get fucking paid their actual due is quite simple for us to do.
Of course. I mean,
I wasn't wiping, by the way. Nicola, I wasn't wiping. I was just washing my hands. There you go. We keep this chat real. And I'm just taping my mic on my t-shirt. There you go. Nice. You hear that crunch? There you go. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting this conversation. But yeah, I mean, you highlight loads of fucking important points, but at least you're doing something about it, you know?
It's all, you know, you can always do more, and I've definitely need to do more, but like, I just think that like respecting the heritage and being aware of its roots, it goes such a long way, because I think there's so many kids who, you know, like we were all young and idiotic at one point, but I just think that like having, you know, being like, okay, there's a heritage to this shit, I should do my research, you know? It's like if someone got into, you know, being a visual artist, they wouldn't just be like, what, Picasso? No, I don't need to know about that. You'd accept, or even like, who's the guy that did the Sistine Part and Toilette?
The Sistine Chapel? Guy. What?
No, who's the guy that did, like, he signed the toilet? Not Magritte. Maybe it was. But anyway, you know, like,
references I don't know.
Visual artist and just forget and be like, well, I don't need to research the history of this. You'd be like, well, this is a huge important part of it. You know, even if you're a graffiti artist, you probably end up looking into the history of the graffiti artists. And I just think that like dance music, you've got to do the same thing.
You know what? I had a conversation with a writer friend today about exactly this, where if there's certain creatives that are after fame and adulation, as opposed to the art itself, they won't recognize what's come before them.
Yeah, it's a good way to tell.
And you can differentiate between like what your actual motives are and whether your art is any good.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone should read the manual by the KLF, because there's a great bit in that which I say this to everyone, where it talks about, you know, imagine a point in the future where there's 2 tracks get released and music's been reduced to just a kick drum. All the tracks are just a kick drum. There'll be 2 tracks released with the same kick drum playing at the same speed, right? One of them will be shit and one of them will be amazing, and everyone that listens can tell, because your intention comes through whatever you do. Do you know what I mean? It's like your intention and your the meaning and the reason why you're doing stuff comes through. And I think that, like, again, I just wouldn't be able to feel like I had a leg to stand on. I don't have the balls to sort of be able to go to people and say, hey, I'd like to get you on a track, and then send over something which is completely whack or totally shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to try and rip them off. It's like, no, what the fuck, man? It's insane.
I mean, you've just reminded me we had a big chat about the KLF on our own little discussions.
Have you read that book about Magic, Mystery and Chaos? How the KLF burnt $1 million?
I've got it. I haven't read it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's better than Bill Drummond's autobiography, I've got to say.
Oh, I've only got 45, which was interesting to read.
There's some bits in that which haven't aged very well, definitely. But the book about the book about them is amazing. I would 100% recommend it. So
someone mentioned earlier Richie Brains.
Yes.
Right, who is Richie Brains? That whole like Uber project of everyone coming together. Also, I just want to say big up Natalie in the comments. How's it going? Richie Brains was like a whole project which was a super group. But what inspired me from the KLF was the backstories and creating these new bands and whatever.
And one of the bands that I came up with was a Russian reggae group that was anti-Putin called Rasputin.
Yes, killer.
Have you had any other ideas like that based on the KLF's influence?
Do you know what? I tend to just be so focused in the studio that I just do the stuff and then worry about that later. Although I'm currently working, or in lockdown, one of the projects I did was basically me and Fracture wrote a whole album of sort of electro inspired stuff, and we've been going through that recently. Like, okay, how are we presenting this? What's the story behind it? How does this all tie together? And because Charlie's brothers is an amazing graphic designer, it's like, what can we get Harry to build that's going to unify it all? Because the whole thing put together. And this also actually links to the Chimpo record, because like that was my idea to do that kind of luxury brand piss take.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting seeing how well, like a properly executed graphic concept, how much you can take from John big tunes. So like I'm constantly having to remind myself, like, with all the story is super important as well.
Sorry, I'm just going to move the mic.
It's all right.
It's just, yeah. But also, the point is, you guys definitely are going to get sponsored by some luxury brand soon, and that's going to be fucking hilarious.
You know what? If I could get sponsored by a luxury brand right now, it'd be Casablanca. I love what Casablanca do. I'd love to get some silk Casablanca shirts.
I have no idea who they are.
Check them out, man. It's ultra luxe. It's all like, it's this kind of like Moroccan tennis club vibe. It's amazing.
It's like Hawaiian shirts for skinny people.
Yeah, I might need to have mine let out around the belly area after lockdown. You know what I mean?
Dude, you know John Sportsbanger, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know him personally, but I know of him. Yeah.
Oh, see, because that'd be a fucking sick collab.
Well up for that, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, with the Richie Brains thing, that was me, Fixate, Fracture, Ohm Unit, Perez, Stray, and Chimpo, and the idea. It all started from D-Bridge just emailing us all saying, when are you lot going to form like Voltron then? And that was it. It was D's
It's a Wu-Tang thing.
Like, let's do this. So yeah, we wrote the whole thing over about like 3 or 4 main sessions in London at like various studios, like Alex's studio, Charlie's studio, Darren's studio, and I think maybe one other place. And then we just kind of worked on it on our own a bit and bounced.
Was Darren in Belgium then, or was he here?
This was before he moved to Belgium, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that and again, I think it was Darren came up with the name Richie Brains. We were talking about what we're going to call it, and like Darren was like, "Oh, you know, Richard Brains, the dickhead." We were like, "Richie Brains, that's sick. It can be a whole character. We can present it." And from that, from that idea, came the idea of like, let's keep it anonymous and let's make people think, who is Richie Brains?
Right.
And it's like, oh shit, we can do these stickers. And then the artwork was again done by Charlie's brother, and that's a photo of one of their mates in a pub. He'd shoved ping pong balls in his eyes, and they'd taken the photo on an old Nokia, like a first generation Nokia camera phone. And so all the distortions and like the rubbishness of that gave it such a character that we could just run with it. And so the whole thing came together so naturally. Like the music, the name, the visuals, and the concept just fell into place so well.
So it wasn't an Aphex Twin piss take at all?
No, not at all. Because
honestly, I saw the artwork of Who is Richie Brains. I was like, that reminds me of Rubber Johnny by Chris Cunningham. Have you seen that?
I'm not a massive Aphex Twin fan, I've got to be honest.
So that's it. So his real name is Richie, right? It's
right,
Rich.
Yeah.
So I was like,
James.
Yeah. So I was just like, I was like, is this a bit of a fucking gun for Aphex Twin?
Not at all. And you know what? I'd never thought that link till you said it just now. I wasn't aware of that. You know, no, it's literally, you know, Richard Brains, Richard Head, Dickhead. That's where that comes from. Right.
Got it. But you've got to check out Rubber Johnny, by the way. I'm going to send you, I'll send you a link to it. It's fucking amazing. So Chris Cunningham's visuals meets this whole weird production. But yeah, man. And also, in terms of aliases and whatever else you're doing moving forward, the Pineapple label.
Yeah.
What's happening there, man? Because I'm completely shit-faced, so I'm asking you generic questions now.
He's good. Roll with it. Pineapple was just. I wish it started earlier. It was just like, look, I need to do something which is my own space, just so that I can do stuff that's not D&B, rather than trying to force Critical to release, you know, all this mad stuff. And also just like, I want to write some different shit. I want to write some UK funky. I want to write some dance music, because I love playing long sets where I can start off with house, or even start with disco and end up at jungle, you know, like, and I was like, I like to make all that as well. So I was like, I need a space to do this. I chose the name because of the Baobinga pineapple slush puppy thing, and yeah, it's just been kind of. It got started. I think, in mid 2019, and then it really got rolling last year. And obviously, then pandemic hit, so I put out all these like club bangers with nowhere to play them. But it's been good, you know. It's been growing, building the band camp up, trying to get the you know, just learning about the whole process and all that. And like, yeah, I'm really happy with it, you know. And people should really buy the t-shirts. So the long sleeve t-shirt we've got out now is amazing. It's organic cotton. It says happily ever after on the back. It's got PNPL down one arm. It looks sick. It's fair trade. Just definitely go and cop that.
Nice.
It's just a really fun place to put stuff that's like not D&B, but that I also really care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you just keep fucking pumping it out. Because I think there's got to be nothing worse than having created all this shit with no way to get it out. And now, of course, you can.
Yeah, definitely. But then, and this is the other reason why today's been frustrating is because, again, with some of the stuff me and Matt have been working on, like, that involves a huge amount of moving parts because it's like, you know, it's like rappers and management and all this stuff. And so we have like a huge amount of music we're sitting on.
Bro, working with rappers is a fucking nightmare at the best of times anyway.
If we had the druthers, if we had our druthers, it would be out like next month. You know what I mean? But like, it's just not that easy.
So just before we say goodbye, I just want to say, like, I want to empathize with you about working with rappers because I worked with Pavan on his solo shit, you know, as well. And then
the blue face paint.
Yeah, the whole sort of reassertion of one's identity. Pavan from Foreign Beggars is who we're talking about. But like, we figured out that it's gone from being this whole, well, I have anyway. I sort of worked out that it's gone from this whole sort of digital global live shows and whatever thing to essentially being a corner shop. So the brandness comes into play for me. I'm just like, right, we will run it like a corner shop. We have stock to sell, stock to get in, sell it. Very good. And then Brexit fucking came and it's like, shit. So importing shit has been a fucking nightmare.
Oh, and obviously Trump fucked up for America. Like the shipping costs to America are insane now. And like, I've been very lucky in that, like, I've had a really good career in America. Like, for the past sort of like 5 years, I've been out in America like once every 2 months, just about. You know, once every 6 months at a minimum. To the point where I even had like an American girlfriend, you know, for a while, and it wasn't too weird. But I mean, it's not being weird, but yeah.
I'm not going to ask any more about that, bro. You know.
But you know what I mean. So it's like. You know, I was out in America a lot.
Was it because of the bun? Did she say, "Look, fuck off, bro. That bun's a bit too much"?
Let's not get into this because I'm still angry about it.
Okay, fine.
She ended up being an absolute dick. But anyway, yeah. So like, and like, I still sell, you know, like I still sell a lot of merch to America, but like it's so fucking expensive. And like, obviously, I also used to take all the merch on tour with me. I'd like shove, you know, 40 t-shirts in a backpack, and then at $25 a pop at a show. Over the course of the tour, I'd basically pay for my food on the whole tour, you know what I mean? And more than.
Exactly. And it's as basic as that, you know.
It's gone now. It's gone.
Yeah, man. Just got to eat your hair bun.
Got to eat my hair buns. I'm a hairball, you know? So, yeah.
But, bro, thank you so much for this, man. I'm going to say goodbye before I say anything more untoward and fucked up.
Finish that bottle when you're gone, bro. Finish that bottle.
Bruv, I can't believe this much has been drunk.
You've powered through that, Maggie. I've been healthy. I've been on the, well, it's actually not Volvic, but it's just tap water from the tap upstairs. I'm probably getting lead poisoning, but yeah.
Keeping it real.
Bazza, you missed it, mate. We're about to log off.
It'd be on the View Again thing.
Oh yeah, is this archived? Yeah.
This is archived. Yeah. Which
okay,
is why we have to be careful what we say.
Some shouts. Yes, Jacob. I will see you tomorrow in the lessons. I haven't finished planning it yet. Fuck. Do the homework.
Is that your actual student? Do the homework.
My student is actually in there. Yeah. So.
I like how you held up like a oh my god, you just gave me a flashback. It's like, you know when you go to Glastonbury en masse, right?
Yeah.
And you got your plastic bottles. One's like a liter of vodka, one's a liter of water, but in your Evian bottles, and you take big swigs out the wrong one.
Oh yeah, completely.
I can't wait for those days to come back, man. I want more real life fuckery to happen.
You know what? I like my fucking like locus is so small right now. It's like the house and the studio, and maybe a park. It's like, and my mum once in a while. You know, it's like from traveling so much. I'm probably having a terrible carbon footprint to basically just like living in two places. it's insane, isn't it, man? But yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that the carbon footprint aspect of it is probably worse because you're eating so much food and shitting. So it's fine. You're making up for the carbon footprint aspect.
You know what? I've actually bought my first car. Like, I stopped flying everywhere, and then I bought a Golf GTI. Like, I can absolute knob. So,
Just standard earth killing cockness has continued. Well done.
Basically, you know, whatever way, but on the earth. I feel sorry, Gaia. Sorry, I feel bad. I feel bad.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to burn up your fossils. Excellent.
Oh, mate, no, and release vinyl as well. Jeez, terrible.
And get your nails done with shellac, because that's really the most important part. I want to get my mirrored nails done soon. So look, Rob, thank you so much for this chat, Rob. I'm going to go wee again.
I really enjoyed it, man.
Mwah, big love.
Take care, G.
Oh yeah, get the records, everybody. Yes.
Yes, and buy the t-shirts, please.
And the t-shirts, obviously. Bye.